scheming on God. Looking like I still do fraud. Flying private jet with the rod. It's that Z shit. It's that Z shit.
Hey guys, we're back with another video. You already know this is You Can't Sip With Us, and I'm your host Z, of course. And as you guys can tell by the title of this episode, we're going to be talking about mental health today. So that is a very important topic. We're going to get into mental health, what it is, how we're really feeling, and yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about some things that people don't want to talk about. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get into it. Of course, we first start off with our mindful moments. I'm going to say my mindful moment is today I found out that my store that I work at, we bonused for. So I'll basically be getting a bonus here pretty soon. So shout outs to that, making this money out here, making this money on. And to be honest, I'm the person that's making the money on because when I'm not there, they really don't be making no money. But yeah, so shout outs to me, but shout outs to the team. It is what it is. But let's go ahead and get into the drink of the week. The drink of the week. So you can kind of see it, but you can't really see it. Like it's orange at the top and then it's red at the bottom. Of course, that's the grenadine, but it is going to be called the Peace of Mind, or maybe it's just called Peace of Mind. I'm really not sure. But of course, the recipe will be posted along with the episode so you guys can make it at home. And you can sip with me. So let's go ahead and taste it. That was just straight grenadine. Let's try that again. I mean, it wasn't bad, but I ain't taste no alcohol. Okay. Yeah, there go the alcohol. Okay, so to be honest, that tastes like those peach rings, but it tastes like the sour version of a peach ring. So y'all go ahead and make that. It is called Peace of Mind again. So let's go ahead and get into the questions. I don't know, I just got a lot of energy today, so y'all just bear with me. But let's go ahead and get into the questions. The first one says, if your brain had a loading screen, what would it say? Mines would say, not now, bitch. Like, not now, bitch. Give me a minute. Okay, give me a minute. Gone. Gone somewhere. Somewhere along the lines, not now, bitch. For real would probably be what it say. Just like, give me a second, okay? Give me a second and leave me the fuck alone. It says, what is your go-to comfort show or song when you're feeling down? Either or. I have a song. I don't know if I told you guys this, but I've always wanted to tell you guys this. But I had a song. There was like a point in time where I was like really struggling mentally and I just did not want to be here anymore. Not that I was going to do anything. I just didn't. I just had that feeling that I didn't want to be here anymore. And then a Lil Wayne song called Let It Work Out or Let It Be Alright or something like that is what it's called. But it's like let it all work out. But he was basically telling his story and it was very relatable. So he was telling this story and I made a promise to me and myself to never be down bad to where I'm feeling like that again, or to never at least let myself feel like that again, because to be honest, depression and struggling mentally is all just mentally, like it's really not that bad, but you're in your head so it feels that bad. So my go-to song was that by Lil Wayne. Y'all go and tell me what that song is called. Let It All Work Out is what I think it's called, but I'm not really sure. So my go-to show that I could just watch like over and over again, I want to say would probably be like Criminal Minds or like Girlfriends. I teeter between those two and I've always watched them, so those two would be my favorite ones that I be watching either just when I'm bored or when I just feel like I do need to pick me up or I need to like go back and reminisce or something. I don't know. Comfort, like it says. When I just want to feel comforted, I'll just go and watch one of those shows just randomly and I'll binge watch it probably all day. Even though I've watched them 10,000s of times, I'll go and rewatch it again. Do you feel like a nap should be considered a part of self-care, or do you feel like it should be considered a sport? I feel like it could be considered self-care. It could be considered self-care for sure. I love being a nap. I do. I wish I could take naps. I just be so busy most of the time where I can't take a nap. But I love me a nap. And usually if I take a nap, I know I'm gonna be up all day because my naps don't be like 2 hours. They be like 3, 4 hours. So that's like sleep. When is the last time you felt truly happy and what made you feel that way? So recently I just went on a vacation. So I would say that, as y'all can tell, I just started smiling, but I would say that vacation really made me happy. It made me happy. I went back home. Houston is home, so I went back home, seen all my friends out there, hung out with them, my cousin. Basically, just had a blast, had the time of my life. It was kind of bittersweet, and like the bittersweet part was because I'm not out there no more, and I just miss it so much. But it was fun. That was the sweet part. So yeah, I was happy. I didn't have no care in the world. Like I was out there living my best life for sure. If you had to rate your mental health like a phone battery percentage, what percent would it be on today? Me, my mental health, I would say I'm a good 85 to 90 range. Like I'm very up there. I'm very up there. I'm very content. I'm very okay, I guess. I'm like a good 95 actually. Like I'm very happy today. I've had a great day today. I didn't have nothing that pissed me off or anything like that. So today was the good day. All right, we're going to go ahead and get a little bit deeper into the questions. So this next one says, do you feel like people are supposed to have it figured out by their mid to late 20s? Excuse me. I don't feel like we're supposed to have it figured out by our mid to late 20s. I feel like you're supposed to know what common sense is for sure. But as far as having life figured out and knowing everything, no, I don't feel like you're even going to know that by 30 or 40. So I just feel like by your mid to late 20s, like I said, you should know right from wrong. You should know if you don't fucking pay rent, you're going to get evicted. If you don't pay that car note, it's going to get repossessed. If you don't go to work, you're going to get fired. You should know right from wrong in your mid to late 20s. But as far as maybe if one of your parents died, you're not going to know that in your mid to late 20s. You may not even know that in your 30s, how to figure shit like that out. So it just depends on your life experiences. We're just going to leave it at that. So the answer is no. I don't feel like everyone is supposed to have it figured out. I feel like society expects everyone to have it figured out in their mid to late 20s. So don't put no stress on yourself. Don't try to stress yourself out. Get depressed about what you don't got because you done seen another person your age done bought a house and a car and whatever else. Don't worry about none of that. You are on your own timing, your own scheduling, and your own path. So just work your program. Do you think social media helps your mental health? Why or why not? Y'all already know, or if you don't know, now you do. I feel like social media is a terrible thing. Of course, that's how people get known now. That's how we get put ourselves out there, especially for someone like me who is trying to put myself out there and do it on a podcast. I have to use social media. But as far as taking social media serious, I feel like that's where a lot of y'all fuck up at. I feel like all this reality TV, it started out with the Big Brothers or the Big Brother house or something like that. Then it turned to Bad Girls Club. Now we in baddies and South Central baddies and all that other shit. It's becoming a problem. And the reason why it's becoming a problem is because y'all don't seem to know how to distinguish reality from fucking real life. Half of that shit is fucking fake. You see all these people on these reality TV shows, that shit is rented. They don't own shit. Their credit is in the 400s. They getting repossessed things. You know, they don't own nothing. They just got money because they on TV, and then they don't even know how to use the money and invest it and make it last. And it's like, oh, y'all just looking at them like, oh, they got a Rolls Royce, they got a nice ass mansion, they got a X, Y, and Z. They go on shopping sprees. They got $20,000 necklaces and shit like that on, but they're real life broke or they're real life sad. And it's like y'all are envying these people, y'all are jealous of these people, y'all are feeling some type of way about these people, but y'all are just not understanding the things that come with that, or like I said, the real reality of what the fuck that they're showing on TV or showing on social media. So social media is detrimental to your mental health, especially if you cannot distinguish. Do you think society pressures people to always be okay? I do. I really do feel like society expects everyone, not just men, because there is a lot of men, and I think it is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm not really sure. I gotta look that up. But in the month that I'm filming, I'm not sure when I'm going to release this, but yes, it is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And I just feel like they for sure expect all men to know and to always be good, always okay, and take it on the chin. But sometimes it is healthy to let all that shit out. A man could cry. A man can cry. Don't just be no fucking crybaby. Like, don't be coming home crying because you done had a rough fucking day at work. Bitch, I don't give a fuck. You better take that on the chin. You don't always have to be okay. You don't always have to be okay. Like I said, there's always situations, men or women, that you're gonna be in to where you're gonna want to cry. You're gonna want to show some kind, or you're gonna want to express some kind of emotion. Do it. Now, if it's anger, you might want to rethink that. It just depending on what you're trying to do. But if it's like a sad emotion or something like that, do it. So this next one says, why do you think it's so hard for people to talk about their feelings openly? And just like we've been saying, I feel like it's just because of society. Society wants you to be okay all the time, and that's unrealistic. And then when you do feel some type of way, as far as like feeling sad, you always are scared to maybe go and tell a friend or to tell your parents or somebody because they're going to look at you, man or woman, you're weak, or you're grown. Put on your big girl panties, get up, do what you need to do. And sometimes you do need to cry, you do need to vent, you do need to let that out. But society makes you think like, no, keep that shit in and bottle it all up inside. But that's how people fucking snap. I've actually learned to just express my feelings and express them in a healthy way. I'm not about to sit there and cuss you out. I used to. That's how I used to express it. And I'd be like, bitch, what don't you fucking understand? And then if you don't understand, it would make me want to put my hands on you, because like maybe me beating your ass will help you understand. So that's how I used to handle it. But now I'm gonna talk to you calmly. I'm gonna talk to you in the same kind of manner, just talking, just like I'm talking to y'all, and just telling you how I feel, whether I'm upset, whether I'm sad, emotional, whatever you want to call it, irritated. Like, I'm gonna let you know. Or whether you got me fucked up. And if you got me fucked up, it will be very much so uh I don't want to say aggressive, but authoritative. It'll be very much so like, I said what I said, and this is how I feel, and you can take it how you want to take it, and leave it at that. Yeah. So I just feel like you're not going to be okay all the time. You let it be known. I done told plenty of people what the fuck it was and went on about my day and felt great. Slept like a baby at night. I don't never lose sleep over nobody or nothing, but sometimes you just got to let people know what the fuck is up. All right, so we're going to move into some ways on how we can cope, or some questions on how we can cope with our mental health. I hope I've been helping you guys so far through it. We've learned, one, social media is fake. We learned, two, mental health, depression, and all of that is a state of mind. So let's see what else that we can learn. And if you guys learned anything else other than those two things, let me know in the comments down below. Let's go ahead and move on. How do you usually cope when life feels overwhelming? So for me, if I need a break from life, I know this is probably not good, I'm gonna probably roll me a blunt, and I'm gonna probably make a drink. I don't necessarily drink hard liquor anymore, but I will like make a drink or get some wine and drink, smoke a blunt, just one. That's all I need, one blunt, and then just relax. Maybe sit in some silence, play some music, something along those lines, watch a movie or something. That's how I will take a break. If I'm out and about, like I'm out at work or just out in general, I got to step away. Like, if you pissing me off, I'm gonna have to just walk away, go sit down for a second, calm down, do what I need to do. Give me like 15 minutes. 15 minutes, I'll come back like nothing ever happened. Give me 15 minutes, I'll come back like you didn't just do what the fuck you just did. I feel like those are some of the things that I use to cope. I know most of the time it's very hard to walk away, but what you gotta do is, like I said, me, I'm about to waste my energy arguing with nobody. Nobody. I'm about to sit here going back and forth with you. I'm not even about to sit here going back and forth with you in this tone of voice. If you're not getting my point, or I just keep repeating myself, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to stop talking. Whatever that you're saying, you can go ahead and say. It's not going to really affect me. Whatever you call me, it's not going to really affect me. And yeah. And then by the end of the day, whenever you leave or whenever we part our ways, I'm going to probably sit there and laugh at you, how you was trying to get me out of my character and I didn't get out of my character, and for me to not get out of my character, it made you even more mad. So it is a lot easier said than done, but that's just the mind state that I'm in now, so I ain't got time for all this shit. Nothing really bothers me like that anymore. Like I said, I'm glad my mental health and my peace of mind is where it is now, because I would say like 2 years ago, it was yeah, like 2 years ago, I would probably put my hands on you if you pissed me off. So I'm glad I'm not at that point. Because, yeah, I was definitely a crash out. What's a small thing that you do on a daily basis that helps your mental health? I would say I pray. I'm not even gonna lie. I pray. I talk to God all the time, my ancestors, whatever you want to call it. I also take showers at night, and when I take the showers at night, I just kind of like sit in the water. That kind of helps me like reset, relax, and feel better. I don't know what that does. I don't know what the long showers do for me, but I just feel like that helps my mental health. It helps me be able to turn everything off. That's the one time that I'm able to turn it off for whatever reason. So I say taking long showers and also praying. How do you balance staying? What is that? How do you balance taking care of yourself while still showing up for others? So me, I have a battery percentage basically, and that's kind of how I look at it, or that's kind of just how it feels. I can see it, but y'all can't see it. You know what I mean? So like, if it's at 100, I can see like it's green. If it's at 0, I can tell my social battery is dead. Like, it's dead. It's time for me to go. It's time for me to be by myself and recharge. And when I say recharge, like literally recharge. So for me, I pick and choose. That's how I continue to be able to show up for myself and show up for others. If I've been doing a lot of stuff and I've been by myself a lot lately, I haven't been going out or anything, going to my friend's house, then maybe I'll start interacting. Oh, when I have a low percentage, I'm very irritated. And when I get irritable, that's when I know it's time to recharge. So that's what I do. I'll just like step away, step back, should I say, like, and people can tell the difference. They be like, "What's wrong? Your energy is off today." And it's like, yeah, because it's not there. So leave me alone. But when I have been by myself enough and I'm itching to interact with people, then that's when I'll go back and show up. So I do be selfish and I take time for myself. I'm about to sit here and be going out all the time or showing up for other people all the time and not showing up for myself, because then I know eventually I'm going to flip out. So I don't even do that no more. As far as like my friend, there may be a week or two where we just go without talking to each other just because we're both busy. We'll text in between them, but we're just both busy to where our schedules aren't aligning. So, we just do what we need to do. But we make sure that like, hey, I'm about to come over today, or hey, I'm coming over your house. I'm like, okay, bet. But we make sure that we still do that too. How do you recognize when your mental health is slipping? So some of the signs is like if my clothes are all over the place instead of in the laundry basket. If I've been neglecting cleaning, so usually I do like a deep clean once a month, and then I do cleaning like once a week. But if I like skip a week, then I skip another week. Okay, after 2 weeks, I'm like, girl, what the fuck is going on? But that's when I'll just force myself to do it. Mental health is just a mind state. state. You just have to get shit done. When you're feeling sad because you're not getting shit done, it's because you're not getting shit done. You gotta actually get the shit done, and then you won't feel sad no more. I mean, I understand that there's like certain circumstances that could put you in a depressive episode or something, as far as like somebody passing away, and now you're sad, and maybe you don't have the energy or the time to do anything. But I lost somebody really close to me, and I still feel that to this day, and I just know like there's no stopping. Like there's no not going to work. Like, yeah, you take your bereavement period, your week or two, however much time that you need as far as that goes. But at the end of the day, life still goes on. You still have bills, you still have responsibilities. So you just have to keep that in mind, and that's how you're going to be able to move through it. Because like I said, people lose people every day. It's just how you go about it that's going to affect you. Some people lose somebody and then they completely lose themselves. They become addicts, they become homeless, they just give up on life in general. That's just their mind state. It's because they weren't strong enough, or they didn't have enough strength, they didn't have enough support to be able to continue after such a loss or such a tragedy or trauma. So, certain things that we can do to help with that is, like I said, just keep going. Yeah, you did lose them, but to be honest, their spirit is still alive. You can still communicate with their spirit. They're probably watching down over you, depending on how they live their life. But it's just certain things. Like I said, I lost one of the most important people to me, but I still can feel them to this day, and I still talk to them to this day, and I still feel content as if they were there. It's just certain things like, dang, I wish I could call this person and I can't. So it's just certain things like that. I still have good memories. So how has stress or anxiety shown up physically in your body? So with me, when I start stressing out, I start losing hair, I start gaining weight, and my period comes late all the time. Not all the time, but like when I'm stressed. Those are just some of the things that shows up when I'm stressed. As far as anxiety, I'm not really sure, other than my heart beating fast and me being like kind of paranoid, what happens with that physically. As far as like stress physically, my hair will fall out, um I will gain weight, and then also my period will come late. So those are just the three things that happens to me. If y'all have some different kind of ways that stress shows up in y'all body, let me know. Some people nails start breaking, some people physically get sick. So y'all just let me know what happens to y'all when y'all are physically stressed out. Go ahead and put that in the comments down below. If you could give your younger self advice about mental health, what would it be? Mine would be, tell people how you feel. Don't bottle anything up inside, and stick up for yourself no matter what. Don't too much give a fuck about what others have to say, and don't be trying to people please people, because when I was in the business of people pleasing, I was sad all the time. I just didn't really too much care for being here. And once I gave up trying to please other people and I started pleasing myself, oh baby, I started having the time of my life. So, yeah, I would say all of that. Like, stick up for yourself, say what you need to say, and leave it at that. And yeah, don't be trying to be no people pleaser. Fuck them niggas. Do you think that mental health is talked about more openly now than in the past? I do. I do feel like we talk about it a lot more now, because back then there was no name for mental health. Somebody committed suicide, oh, they were just sad. Now we have a name for it. Now there's more like it's an actual thing that affects people. Now there's actual mental health days that some jobs give out. So I feel like, yeah, it is talked about a lot more now. We're trying to, I want to say, like, protect our mental health. We're trying to understand it a little bit more, understand how mental health works, and depression and anxiety and stress and all of that. So I feel like it is talked about a little bit more now. And now people, we have therapy, therapists. I don't know if they had that back in the day, as far as like other than marriage counseling, and then that was just counseling. So I don't know. We don't call it counseling no more. We call it therapy. So I don't know if it's the same or what. But yeah, we do talk about it a lot more now. How has your mental health shaped the way that you see yourself? So when I was younger, of course, my mental health was terrible. I always just talk bad about myself. I was big, shit, I'm still big, but I'm big and beautiful, baby. But yeah, so I just had a lot of insecurities when I was younger and I didn't really like myself. So I would always talk bad about myself, always make fun of myself, certain things like that. I never really thought I was pretty or cute. I would always have niggas, but I just never thought that I was pretty or cute. Till, like I said, I was getting older, lost a little bit of weight, or did I just get finer? I don't really know. That glow up stage, but lost a little bit of weight, just started loving on myself for real. Started looking at myself naked, started walking around naked, feeling comfortable in my own skin and on my own body, the way it feels. And yeah, I feel like I'm the baddest bitch. Baddest bitch out the spot. I still have, I don't want to say insecurities because, like I said, I love my body and I love the way it looks, but I feel like I have body dysmorphia because I can look at my body, but the body that I feel that's on me or that's in me, however you want to say it, is not the body that I see still to this day. But like I said, I still love the way that I look. So there's no problems or issues there. I don't have the insecurities, but I have body dysmorphia. Now, body dysmorphia is an insecurity, y'all let me know. Because it really don't bother me. It's just, that's just what it feels like. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. But I feel like as far as now, since my mental health is a lot better than it used to be, I see myself better. And I don't talk to myself as far as how I used to. I talk to myself a lot better now. I say like, you're smart, you's kind, you's beautiful. I don't say those necessarily, but if y'all seen that movie, y'all know what I'm talking about. But those are just like affirmations, something like, girl, you fine as fuck. Like, those are more of the affirmations that I say. So it's like, girl, you fine as fuck, girl. You smart as hell. You the baddest bitch out. Like, those is what I say to myself. So maybe, you know, if you kind of like me, you're the baddest bitch out. You that nigga. Like, tell yourself that, especially if you struggle with mental health and you're struggling right now. Tell yourself you're that nigga. Like, what have you done that you accomplished today? Okay? Period. Like, give yourselves kudos. You're not always gonna be okay, and that's okay. But it's not okay to not try to get up out of it. So when you're trying to actively get up out of it and you're trying to actively reach potential, I guess, a higher level of a mental health or a higher level of spirituality, or you becoming one with yourself is basically what it is. You're finding peace, you're healing. Then I feel like that's the positive. Even if you're not gonna be okay right at this moment, you're gonna be okay eventually. And I don't like saying that shit because, duh, bitch, I'm gonna be okay eventually. But as of right now, I'm struggling. So, like I said, you just have to know that you're gonna be okay. Like I said, pray, okay? Praying was what helped me. Praying is what got me through everything. And God. God, for sure. What role do friendships and family play in your mental health? They play a huge role in your mental health. If you don't have no kind of support as far as friends or family, you're probably going to be mentally ill, or you're going to struggle mentally, and it's going to be hard for you to be able to come up out of that. So I feel like friends, for sure, they're 1000% contributing to that mental health, hopefully for the better. But as far as family, I know sometimes there can be certain things that can cause you to have mental health in a family. I would just say pick and choose who you're around. They do play a huge role, whether or not it's good or bad. So just pick and choose who you want to be around. You can choose who's good for you, who's not, and go from there. All right, y'all. So we got the last little 6 question, or the last little 7 questions, excuse me. And we're going to be talking about therapy. So let's dive into it a little bit deeper. And disclaimer, I just want to let everyone know that this is just my experiences. I would pray that if you do need to go to therapy, that you find somebody that you're comfortable with and you're able to open up and share what you need to share. So let's go ahead and get into these questions. Why do you think some people are afraid to go to therapy? I feel like some people are afraid to go to therapy because of the stigma around it. Because, oh, therapy is for white people. Oh, black people don't go to therapy. What is therapy? Like, nobody does therapy. What is that? That's why there's a lot of people that's out there afraid to go to therapy. They don't know what it is. They don't know what it's really for. They're uncomfortable with certain. You're always uncomfortable with something that you're trying that's new. So people are uncomfortable with something that's new and they don't know nothing about it. And they don't really know what therapy is, and they don't have people around them that know what therapy is, or they have people that's saying that's not what we do. How can we make therapy feel more normal and less intimidating? So, in order to make people feel less intimidated about therapy, I feel like we just have to try it out. For people who have gone through therapy, they know what it is, they know what it entails and everything. So I feel like we should just tell them what it entails. Like, as far as me, therapy, I did have to find a therapist that I trusted, because the first time I did therapy, it just did not work out right. Everything that I said was used against me. It turned into a whole thing, and I just didn't like that. So then the second time that I did therapy, I was kind of hesitant on it, but it was a lady that was African American, just like me. She related to the things that I was going through and helped me see the right from wrong, helped me kind of calm down, helped me go through certain things and certain emotions and basically validate my feelings with certain things. Of course, she kept me accountable for certain things, especially if I was doing things that were not right. But that's what a therapist is. It's someone that's there to vent, for you to vent to, and then it's also a person who's going to keep you accountable for the things that you said that you want to work on. So when you always go to therapy, they always ask you in the beginning, what is something that you want to work on? What is something that you want to gain from this therapy? And you will work on that throughout the sessions. So, because therapy is not meant for you to do it all the time, every day. Therapy is meant for you to work through something, and then after you work through that, after you get what you wanted to get out of therapy, then it's for you to stop. Unless you have another issue where you feel like you just need to go back to therapy for whatever reason, then that's a whole nother story, and you'll work through whatever that is. As far as, like, for me, I had anger issues. Oh, I had to go to therapy for my anger issues, and therapy helped me with my anger issues as far as giving me coping mechanisms to be able to get to the point to where I am able to walk away. It gave me coping skills to where I'm not cussing people out left and right like how I used to. And it also gave me the skill, or maybe just the ability, to really not give a fuck about what nobody got to say. Like, you can say something to me until you're blue in the face, but if I really don't care what you got to say, then I don't care what you got to say. And that's just going to be that. But I'm not going to just be sitting there like, la, 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 la. Like, no. You can say what you got to say, but it's going to go in one ear and out the other. Like, I'm really not going to give a fuck. If someone is nervous about therapy, what is a good first step that they can take? So, a good first step that you can take is maybe you can invite a friend to your therapy session, not as far as like you're sitting there and they're in the room with you while you're speaking to your therapist, but maybe they're just sitting in the waiting room, or maybe they're sitting in the car because they dropped you off. That would kind of help, just so your nerves won't be as bad going into it. Then you'd also be able to debrief and talk with someone after, like, immediately. So that would be one thing. As far as me, it did take a few sessions for me to open up to my second therapist, just because of the trauma that I had with the first one. You also have to be able to trust them, because everything that you say with the therapist is confidential unless you talk about harming yourself or somebody else. I just feel like you just have to do it. The first step is doing it. It's not that scary once you actually sit down on the couch and you start talking to them. You do have to find somebody that you relate to, or that can relate to you, and that can understand the things that you're going through. Like me, I would not want a Caucasian male therapist, just because you're not going to be able to relate to nothing that a black person goes through. You're not going to be able to relate to anything that a woman goes through. So that's not somebody that I would want to have as a therapist. Me and my mental health and issues that I need to work on personally, a Caucasian person could never help me. So I knew the second time going into it, I did want an African American therapist, and that's what I ended up getting. And yeah, love her forever. How do you respond to the idea that therapy is only for people really struggling? I feel like that's bullshit. Therapy is for everybody. If you got anything that you need to work for or work on, I know that everybody has some kind of trauma, so you can use that therapy to work through that trauma. Yeah, I think that's bullshit. Everybody needs therapy. Every fucking body needs therapy. I don't give a fuck what you say. So go find you a therapist. Therapists take all kinds of insurance. What is the difference between venting to friends and actually talking to a therapist? So, venting to friends, you can vent to a friend, you can tell them whatever you need to tell them. You can probably tell them more than you tell your therapist. But as far as holding you accountable at the end of the day, your friend is probably not going to do that just because they're your friend. They don't want to hurt your feelings or whatever that case may be. But your therapist is going to be like, now, why did you do that? Now, why did you cuss that man out like that? Your friend gonna be like, yeah, girl, he deserved it. Da, 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 da. But that therapist is gonna be like, now, why did you do that? What was the point of that? And how did you feel after? Did you feel better after? Did you feel worse after? Did you even feel like anything after? Did it change anything? Those are the questions that the therapist is going to ask you. And you going to have to be accountable and be like, I don't know why I did that. Or just because I felt like he deserved it. And they're going to be like, well, why did you feel like he deserved it? They be asking them kind of questions. It do be those stupid ass questions sometimes, but sometimes them stupid ass questions lead you to a breakthrough to where he be like, damn, I didn't really have to do that. I did not have to waste my energy on that nigga. I could have just said fuck you and walked away and called it a motherfucking day. And it would have been okay and would have walked away feeling better. And that is the thing that your therapist is trying to have you understand as an example. That's just, one of my examples. But that is something that they're trying to help you understand. So that's the difference between you vent to your friend and you vent to your therapist. That friend gonna be like, yeah, girl, fuck that nigga. That nigga deserved it. You need to cuss him out again. Girl, call him on the phone right now and do it all over again. You're not in the wrong. Like, you're not in the wrong for expressing your feelings, but did you really need to cuss that man out? No, you didn't. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. If therapy wasn't an option, what other ways do you think that people can heal and grow? You have to have a support system. So I feel like friends can help you. You can do the work on your own by journaling, releasing yoga, just releasing anything, any trauma that's happened to you. You can do the work on your own, but it's going to take some time, of course, even with friends, but it's going to take some time. You do have to have the right intentions. You have to have the right intentions, and you have to be intentional about wanting to do better and about wanting to do things to help your mental health. The last question says, do you want to say anything to any of the listeners listening who are struggling with mental health? And I do. I just want to tell you guys that it does get better. Even though you don't want to probably hear that right now, it does get better. There is light at the end of the tunnel. You are going through something right now, but technically it's your shadow work. You have to go through that. You have to learn those lessons. You have to see it through to the end, and then it will be a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. You just have to go through that dark time to get to the happy times. And with that being said, we love you here on earth, and don't let anyone upset you. Don't let anyone take your peace, your energy, and upset you or trigger you into feeling like you're not wanted, you're not loved. You are loved, at least by me. You are loved, and I want you here. So stay, please. That's going to be the end of the questions for today's episode. So let's go ahead and get into the Reddit portion of the episode. So some of them say, when my mental health starts slipping, I start not sleeping. I isolate myself. I don't want to talk to anyone, including friends. I feel tired all day and I don't want to do anything or even go outside. Feeling really depressed and overthinking, either not eating much or far too much. So that's somebody who says those are the signs that she can recognize when she's feeling depressed and her mental health is starting to slip. So if you guys have those kind of signs to where you're feeling like your mental health is starting to slip, then you need to say something to somebody, whether that's your friend, and if they're your real friend, then they'll make sure that you're not falling into those patterns. They'll make sure that you're helping take care of yourself, whether that's male or female. So somebody said, what is one good thing to say to someone who may be struggling? And they said that they would say, want to hang out. So it says, the last time my depression was really bad, my best friend asked me to hang out. We've always been best friends, but I don't see him that often. We ended up spending the evening on a paddle boat. He and I just drinking beer, paddling around on a little lake. Me intermittently crying and generally feeling like shit, but he was there. He knew I was struggling, and although he really couldn't empathize, he knew that I needed simply not to be alone. I'll always think and remember that night when I start feeling rough. I'll always remind myself of that evening, and no matter how dark things get, there's still people out there happy to see me on this side of the dirt. So I would do that for someone because it helped me. And I just wanted to say, like, do you want to hang out? That is so fucking simple. So fucking simple that can help somebody who is struggling. If you have a friend and they don't say like, oh yeah, they struggling, they feeling sad, they mentally ill, whatever the case may be, and you know that, maybe like the next day or some days in between until they get okay, be like, hey, you want to hang out? You know, either they're going to say yes, they're going to say no. If they keep saying no, figure out why. Or you just pop up on them, because that may be depression too. But if they your true friend, they may be like, okay, yeah, and hang out, whatever y'all do, sit in silence or whatever. That will help them for sure. 10 times better, that will help them. So I would say, yeah, the do you want to hang out? That is perfect for to say to somebody who is struggling or who has mental health issues. My mom always be asking, she would always be like, what am I supposed to say? I don't know what to say. I'll just tell them some stuff that she ain't supposed to tell him. I'm like, no, you're not supposed to say it, but I never understood or knew what to say. So now I'm going to go and tell her, hey, you can say, do you want to hang out? Do you want to go get something to drink? Do you want to go get something to eat? Do you want to do something together? Is the moral of the story. Not saying that she's just rude or mean, but yeah, she just didn't really genuinely know what to say to somebody that's struggling with mental health. So now I'm going to go and tell her. Love you, Mom. Love you, Mama. Okay, so this next one says, when I began therapy, it was scary, but it was the single best thing that I have ever done. My therapist showed me how to identify my anxiety triggers and grounding techniques. Now I can manage my anxiety and have a normal life. Getting help can be a huge step towards mental health. And that's what I was saying earlier about therapy. Therapy seems scary, but it's really not. The therapist helps you identify certain things. They give you coping mechanisms to help with those certain things when those triggers do happen. And they also keep you accountable. So I feel like therapy is for everyone at some point in their life, at least once, but even multiple times in their life. I feel like people need to go to therapy. And then the world would be a lot better. Trust me. It wouldn't be a lot of violence going on in the world. Okay, guys, so we have made it to the end of the episode. If you have made it to the end of the episode, to let me and others know, go ahead and drop the I of horse sign down in the comment section below. Anybody who knows that emoji has to do with mental health, spirituality, and being one with self and protection, of course. So go ahead and drop that emoji down in the comments below to let me and others know that you made it to this point of the episode. Guys, I for sure feel like this episode was very educational, very in-depth about mental health. Of course, we'll do one of these episodes every season just so we can check in on our mental health and make sure that everybody's out there. Okay, so I will see you guys in the next episode. Of course, my name is Z, and this is You Can't Sit With Us. Make sure that you guys like, comment those emojis down in the comments below, and share. And also hit that notification button so you guys can stay updated whenever I drop new episodes like this one. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.